I know UCLA is such a supportive community and I value that so much, but it is also something to be aware of. Our plans in the future are a bit harder to make right now.
I live in a family of like eight right now. I don't really have my own space.
I live with 5 other people and it's only a 2-bedroom, so I don't really have like a room or space of my own.
Despite being a DACA recipient, I'm still an undocumented student, which means I am ineligible to receive any benefits from the CARES program, the CARES Act, and the 3 types of grants that are being offered by UCLA are not available to me. I've received one-time technology grant from the DREAM program.
The university offered like the tech grant. My computer broke during finals week of winter quarter. I really needed that grant, but I didn't qualify because I left the university and I had a refund, which is just like it's so hypocritical. Like I had to borrow a computer from the Click Lab, so that's like what I have right now. The university thinks it's enough just to give us the refund for housing. Like, all right, we gave you the refund, like you should be good now. Like I still have to buy and pay for food right at home. Like not everything is free. Some students don't have that and still have to pay rent and still have to pay like insurance and still have to pay for like phone bills. There is things out there, helping us right now during this time, but I think it's still not enough, and we're still advocating for more. I think we still obtain all of the resources that we would have gotten originally. I think it's just that like person to person just need that sometimes you need, to talk to a lawyer, to talk to like an immigration lawyer, to talk to like CAPS, to what you're doing. It's not the same to do that online or through a camera, I think, but they're still offering a lot of those services still remotely.
It's really been a kind of a tough time looking for resources. I especially feel for my undocumented peers that don't have a DACA status. They aren't eligible for a lot of compensation in any way. Resources aren't really being handed to us as readily as it is for anyone that is applying for financial aid through FAFSA or the majority of the school populace.
I think I do give props for UCLA for at least like doing some things and for taking action, even though sometimes we have to pick at them in order for them to do it. The Undocumented Student Program, they created this emergency fund to give undocumented students $500 if they applied. So that's also an awesome resource.
I'm volunteering with the Undocumented Student Program, and when they still offer like their services remotely, we try to put out a lot of content, and we provide all sorts of our resources online, like through Zoom.
I applied to ones with the motivation of kind of covering rent. It's just because, again, I'm trying to help my family with rent if possible, when possible. I'm a part of the Ideas Club. I've been applying to things that have helped a lot. Just through the resources that Ideas has provided. Counselors are still available, especially for an undocumented student, just to know that you have that support base that exists for you.
We were able to apply for CPO, like grocery cards.
I always say that I'm grateful for the little help or the help that anybody gives us. A lot of people don't see it, but I thank UCLA that that they're at least giving us $200, $100. It might not be a lot, but it sure helps. It helps with paying rent. It helps with paying my loans.
As far as myself, I'm really lucky and I have a work-study job with UCLA that I'm eligible for because of DACA, and I've been able to continue it remotely. So that's been a huge help. I know that I probably have a lot of undocumented peers that have lost their jobs.
AB 540 pretty much allows us to get like state funding, and it allows us to not pay out-of-state tuition because undocumented students are labeled as international students. I've never had DACA or anything, or I haven't really been able to work. My dad is the only one in our family that is working, but even then he's a day laborer, which is something not very stable. He makes like $19,000 a year. So you can only imagine him trying to take care of like 7-8 people. But yeah, I'm not able to go work with him, especially because now everything's remote and I have to sort of study for my own classes. I've always been at a disadvantage, regardless whether COVID. But I think right now it's just been hard for him to find jobs. So it's been hard sometimes to pay some bills, and I decided to start my own business, photography, videography, and as something I could use as a leverage to pay my loans. Helped me when everything was going when everything was good, because I would take headshots at school, I would take graduation photos, but now I'm not really able to do that, mostly because of this social distancing.
I think I've been sent something about USIM's relief fund. I just haven't applied yet.
For people that are in fear of deportation, I'm proud as governor to be the first state to announce a program for direct disaster assistance to those individuals.
I did hear about this, but never did I find steps of how to receive this relief. I know it was like talking about how we're supposed to go to different orgs that were giving it. I think it was a big step, I think, also from the documented community to be taken in consideration during this time. And a lot of us are essential workers that still have to show up to work. We don't have medical benefits, so we're at the front lines combating this pandemic as essential workers, but we are like in risk of going to the hospital and just worrying about financial resources in that aspect.
It's crazy. There's so many nurses that are undocumented too, and people in the healthcare system. So that's a huge thing that I don't know how a country would kind of keep going with during a pandemic, especially.
Our families don't receive stimulus checks, which is kind of ironic because we still do taxes. And I think it's just a lot of uncertainty during this time. I'm basically learning from, the org I'm in, and the Undocumented Center sometimes does a good job in spreading this information to their students, but more has to be done.
I've come a long way from where I've been, and I have all these goals and I have all these visions that I want to accomplish, and there's always resources out there and people that are willing to help you. It's really a matter of asking for help.
I know UCLA is such a supportive community, and I value that so much, but it is also something to be aware of. Our plans in the future are a bit harder to make right now.
If there's one last thing I could say, it would be to be extremely mindful of everyone's situation right now. Everyone is going through some sort of difficulty, and a lot of people that are undocumented don't disclose their status. It's just up to everyone as individuals to show their support, regardless of knowing someone's status. It doesn't make us any different. We're all still going through the same global pandemic together, so just be extremely mindful, respectful, and support other Bruins.